What's up everyone, this is eFlex and welcome back to another A Producer's Approach video. So sorry if I'm speaking so low in this video. I have other family members in my house and I don't want to speak too loud in case they're hearing, so my apologies for the low volume or low me speaking, but today we're going to be looking at Haywyre's remix of Survivor, Eye of the Tiger. So like most of my other videos, I basically go into the intro and personal backstory for the song, then I'll do my breakdown analysis, and then after that I'll do an outro. And basically I am trying a new visualizer in this video. You might have seen it for the first time in my previous video, the Haywyre indignation breakdown analysis video. My buddy Very Berry had some feedback. He liked my videos, but he said maybe if you had a visualizer it would be really cool for the audience to see you talking, and maybe just to add another element in between the songs and me talking. So I took up his advice and I actually did some research in my software and found out that I could add a visualizer. So thanks to Very Berry for putting up with that idea, or giving me that idea, because it's a really good idea and it's worked pretty well from what I can see in the Haywyre video. So I really do like the style of that, so I hope you guys do too. And that's just to show you guys that any feedback that you leave in the comments, I do try and read and, take that feedback into consideration to see how I can apply that to these videos. So just want to thank Very Berry and use that as an example for why you guys should, leave comments, whether you like or dislike, or what I should change for the videos. So basically, this song is Survivor, Eye of the Tiger, Haywyre's remix. So this song is actually kind of, I want to say, like a more unknown, underrated song from Haywyre. And I did some looking up because I don't remember when this remix came out versus when Haywyre joined Monstercat, because that's when I discovered Haywyre. And actually this remix, I believe, was released before Synergy was released on Monstercat, which was Haywyre's debut song. So that definitely was an interesting aspect to this. I thought this remix came out after Synergy, but basically this remix I heard in a, I think, live stream or something to that event way back in Monstercat's day, when they were first starting to do live streams. I think like ADX or something. It was like really early days, and I think I remember the set. It was like Haywyre playing and Porter Robinson and Pegboard Nerds or something. It was some like interestingly cool lineup, but I remember watching not the actual live version, but like the replays of that live stream, and I remember hearing this remix. I was like, whoa, what is this remix? I hadn't even heard of this before. I looked it up and I found this video many years ago, not in 2013, but I think maybe like a couple years after this remix came out, or a year or two later. So basically with Haywyre, initially for me, when I first heard Synergy, like I wasn't a big fan of Haywyre. I wasn't a huge fan of glitch hop and sound design at that time. I was more into electro, house, and what they were calling new disco. Electro at that time was more complextro. House at that time was pretty much more progressive house. And new disco was just starting to come up. Before it was called EDM on Monstercat, but it was just starting to be called new disco through the label. So that genre of music was just starting to come up. So those three were the three genres I was pretty much following closely. So glitch hop wasn't truly my thing until a couple years later when Haywyre released Ever Changing, and I think that's when, I changed myself, in terms of perspective, and now I really like Haywyre's music. Like Synergy to me is like a very interesting blend between glitch sounds and melodies. Like it was just the introduction to Haywyre and his brilliance. So if you guys haven't listened to his music, definitely check it out. But overall, that's pretty much my brief personal story on Haywyre and me discovering this remix. So we will start the breakdown of Survivor Eye of the Tiger Haywyre remix here. Really cool. So just to start off the song, like, this is a more I guess traditionally structured song for Haywyre, because a lot of the songs aren't really traditionally structured. Out of most of the songs I've heard from Haywyre, this is probably the most structured song in terms of traditional structuring that I know of, where it kind of starts off with like a kind of build up with more percussion, and then kind of that one shot that kind of sound from the, I guess it's like a sample from Eye of the Tiger, and then he has like a pad in the background kind of building up the structure and the ambience and the overall kind of feeling that you're going to get from this remix, and building kind of that original tone of Eye of the Tiger. So definitely cool there to hear that the beginning percussion is more traditional than some of his other songs. It's pretty cool. So he has kind of a lead sound playing in the background, has a lot of reverb and delay, so it's really big. And then now you can kind of hear that he's introducing like the kind of traditional vocals from Eye of the Tiger, but kind of vocal chopped, and he's slowly introducing that, whether it be filtering or volume automation. He's slowly introducing that into where in this build up it just kind of repeats that vocal chop, and it's kind of that traditional Haywyre vocal chop. And honestly, this beginning part is probably the coolest part to me, because it kind of gives like this really funky grind to Eye of the Tiger. So you'll see in a second when it's kind of when the percussion comes in and it starts going. So as you can hear there, the kick and the snare kind of come in, and then he has that lead that goes. It kind of is playing the melody of Eye of the Tiger, I guess, in a sense, but it's like his own sound design, unique sound. A lot of the early Haywyre sounds from I think 2013 to at least 15 had a very similar sound like that in terms of sound design for his synths. And then he has some other kind of one-shot vocal or vocal chop kind of playing along with that lead, just to give some extra ambience. And then in this section right here, there's kind of some extra white noise, almost like a hi-hat or something, to kind of build up the percussion loop on top of the kick, snare, and the kind of hi-hats that were pretty much playing in the beginning of the song. So basically we are slowly building up into what's going to be the drop of this song. So if you didn't notice there, that was the build up to the drop. And it's interesting because he didn't add white noise in the traditional way of adding a riser. He actually added a lot more white noise sounds. So he added a lot of synths with more kind of higher frequency white noise and then more kind of like percussion sounding sounds. And then he also built up the kick a little bit, but he kind of introduced that lead sound into what's playing, like the really kind of loud lead. He introduced that slowly in that section, but it's just interesting because the build-up has kind of that funky sound, almost like a really funky talk box-ish vocoded type lead synth sound, and then he has kind of the white noise kind of percussion and sounds kind of in between building up with the lead, and then like the kick kind of transitions a little bit, and then you kind of just hear that lead sound blaring. And Haywyre has some of the best like solo leads in most EDM songs. His live performance videos are quite insane, and this was kind of the beginning of those live performance videos with him doing his remix of Eye of the Tiger, because I don't even think in Synergy he did too many solos like that. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but he might have, so just something to note. Man, so that first drop, I mean, it really comes in, and it's really cool because he has the original Eye of the Tiger vocals playing, but the lead kind of sits on top, and it also plays along with the vocal like lead. So whatever notes like that the vocalists are hitting, the lead sound that Haywyre has like playing in that lead section, like he's almost playing along with the vocals. It's really cool, and I like how the vocals kind of glitch out in certain sections, and then the bass sounds kind of down low, they're kind of like nice tone bass sounds, kind of the fill in that bottom space, and then you can just tell that's kind of like early melodic glitch hop with all the glitches and stuff, and just the rhythms of this whole song so far. A lot of really funky glitch hop, and around 2013 that was probably the start of the glitch hop I personally like, which is more melodic and like funk or disco-y funky kind of feeling. Glitch hop at that point was not really like that. It was just like a slower down version of dubstep, but at this time like different artists like Haywyre and stuff were making glitch hop way more funky, so you can tell here with like the rhythms and stuff of the percussion like and the glitching, it's way more funky than you would hear in some of the other glitch hops or Mumacore songs at the time. So pretty interesting. Pretty cool in this section. So you hear that he introduces that section kind of with a break, and he kind of has like almost like, I want to say like a bass guitar, almost like a funk bass guitar playing on the bottom, and then it introduces the next part of the vocals, and he has a lead not as high pitched, maybe like an octave down, kind of playing along with the vocals again. So it's like the lead is harmonizing with the vocals from the original song, and the vocals, you notice, are pretty thin. They're not like the full vocals you hear in the actual song Eye of the Tiger. Like they're thinner, so you hear it, but the lead is the sound that's kind of more prominent and more pronounced, so that's what he wants you to hear. So it's definitely interesting to note, because a lot of remixes kind of do that, like you hear the vocal but it's not usually as full unless the artist somehow gets the hands of the actual original acapella or something, or of that vocal, so unless they get the original acapella, like they have to figure out a way in which they can get the vocal out of the song. So usually like there's a certain frequency range where that vocal sits, and then they can just cut out all the rest of the sounds, and usually that vocal sits in that one section, but since there are other sounds playing, that's why the vocal sometimes sounds a little thinner than, you know, the original song. Plus also sometimes too, the vocals aren't really the main emphasis. They're kind of like the driving force. Like for this song, they're the driving force, but the lead is the one that's really the center of attention. So it's just interesting to note. So it's pretty cool. You hear that lead harmonizing, like it goes back up an octave back in this part of the drop. It harmonizes with the vocals, and then there's a lot more kind of glitching, and then you hear kind of in this part like the lead was playing with the vocals, and then it kind of part of it filters down. I want to say like the percussion or something filters down, and like the lead is playing and the vocals I think maybe filter down a little bit, kind of to bring like to go down and then bring some tension back up before it goes into the outro of the song. But it's pretty interesting how he basically, Haywyre, played his lead and kept the original kind of authenticity of the original Eye of the Tiger song, just adding his own kind of glitch hoppy flair and own solo lead on top, in a sense. Like it plays along and then it kind of harmonizes in not like an off key, but like the best way to put it, like 0 to 12. 12 is harmonizing exactly with 0. He's kind of like at 6, so he's kind of like in a minor key, almost like, if that's the best way to put it. Yeah, it just sounds like he's not playing the exact same lead, like he harmonizes it with maybe like a minor lead or something. But yeah, it's just pretty interesting, and this part's building up. Like that section there, he has the vocal play the Eye of the Tiger, and then the tiger part, like it reverbs out a lot, like it has like a huge like reverb delay tail, and that tail's so big that like it reintroduces kind of that beginning kind of pad sound, and then it kind of plays and transitions back into kind of that same kind of intro section with some of the same sounds. Yeah, you can tell that Haywyre combined a lot of sounds. Even this outro section, like it's not like your stereotypical outro where you just have like a lead playing or bass sound playing. Like you can tell like he has a lot of the hi-hats playing. Like in that break before this outro, he had kind of the hi-hats and then some like kind of glitching sounds, kind of sounded like kind of saw waves, kind of just one-shot sounds. And you hear a lot of those in here with a lot of background different sounds from different maybe samples from Eye of the Tiger, and his own samples kind of incorporated into this section. And you just kind of hear that kind of different one-shotted sounds. Pretty interesting. For most outros, this is pretty unique because, you know, most outros, as I said, they just play like a lead or a bass sound and just have a kick, snare, percussion, which is like the same basic with the same basic bass line. But actually in this song it kind of he adds more variety in terms of, you know, sounds and samples and stuff outroing, so it's pretty cool, and the rhythm is really good as well. Alright, so that was Survivor, Eye of the Tiger, Haywyre remix. So that outro, as I mentioned before, was pretty much, in terms of structure, was very similar to a normal kind of EDM outro for a song, but his outro was very unique because, as I said previously, he used a lot of samples and kind of one-shotted sounds and samples in this outro, which makes the overall outro a little more interesting than your kind of standard, I don't know, house outro. Like if you were to listen to Animals, it's just kind of like that ARP playing with that kick drum. So overall, this remix is really good. There's so many components in this remix. There's like reverb sounds in the background. There's a lot of like saw waves playing along with the lead and the vocals playing at the same time, emphasizing like the bass chords, and there's just so much going on, and that's pretty normal for like Haywyre's glitch hop. He normally fills the space with a lot of different things, and overall, like for a remix of a very popular song, Eye of the Tiger, like this song really hits the mark for keeping the authenticity of the original in a remix. Like with certain remixes, especially of a lot bigger songs, a lot of the artists like to take their own spin on it, which isn't bad, but sometimes they change the authenticity of the song so much to their own style that like they kind of lose the original kind of sound of the song. But this song kind of hits it right on the mark. Like I don't know if I've heard of a better Eye of the Tiger remix other than this Haywyre remix, and to me it's kind of crazy because this is kind of a underrated and unknown remix from Haywyre, because this remix came out before he was even on Monster Cat, and most people know him from when he came on Monster Cat, including me. Like I only first started listening to him when he first came on Monster Cat, I guess later July of 2013, the same year this remix came out. So it's just kind of crazy that, you know, this remix has flown under the radar under all of his really good music. So overall, this remix is, you know, gonna be great. If it's Haywyre, it's always gonna be great, whether it's early stage Haywyre or current stage Haywyre, the song's probably gonna be good. So I hope you guys like this video. Again, with all these songs, I don't own the rights to any of these songs. I'm just reviewing the songs based off these channels. So if you guys want to listen to the original videos, I always have them linked down in the description. And if you guys want to subscribe to these channels as well, go right ahead. I know some of these videos have different selections and different channels that upload the videos, but I'm basically in these videos showing the videos I first found to listen to these songs. So in case for some reason, you know, you haven't been able to find the song, or you want like a good curator of music, then I can show you a new curator of music. So overall, again, I hope you guys like this video. Please leave a comment whether you like or dislike the video. Definitely helps me out for feedback. Subscribe to the channel if you like this content. Really helps me out. I mean, I really hope this concept, you know, catches on and I don't get any copyright strikes or any messages to shut down my channel just for, you know, music issues. Again, I don't own the rights to any of these songs. All the rights go to the original artists and their labels that they're tied to, and the channels as well. So just to clear that up, and overall, I just hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys enjoy the visualizer kind of layout. And if you do, please let me know in the comments. Would love to hear your opinions and what you think of the style and the visualizer. It's a little tacky, but I kind of like that the visualizer is a little old school and tacky, so we'll just go with it for now since I like it. So overall, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and if you really also want to find the song, it's in my favorites playlist on Neflex's favorites. So if you don't feel like clicking the description, you can always look it up in this playlist as well. Alright, have a good one everyone. Peace.